So this video is building off our last video of Bohr models, and this is going to be how to actually draw a Bohr model. So we have the steps right here. The first thing you have to do is identify the element using the number of protons given. So we have sulfur right here. So what we need to do is we need to look at our periodic table, and we find sulfur. Sulfur is right here. Sulfur is S. And I see sulfur, if I could zoom in right here, look at sulfur on your periodic table. We have 16 protons and 32 as the mass number. Now, the first thing you need to do is draw the nucleus. So my nucleus right here, I'm just going to, in order to draw it, just write how many protons and how many electrons it has. So with sulfur, we're going to have 16 protons. I'm just going to put a plus for protons. And then its mass number is 32. So remember, to solve for the number of neutrons, you do mass number minus atomic number. So 32 minus 16. So I also know it has 16 neutrons. So that is my nucleus. Just writing the number of protons and the number of neutrons represents your nucleus. Don't draw a circle or anything else around it. That just gets a little bit confusing. So right here is the nucleus. So I've identified the element. I've drawn the nucleus. Now I need to draw the correct number of energy levels based on its row. Well, let's look at sulfur. It's right here. It's in row 1, 2, 3. So we need 3 energy levels around it. So that just means I draw 3 circles around my nucleus. So that's 1. That is 2, and these are horrific circles, but that's okay. And then that is, oh man, that one's bad. That is 3. So that's the basis of my Bohr model. My nucleus is just writing this, and then my energy levels are 1, 2, 3. Now I fill in the correct number of electrons. I'm going to do electrons in blue so we can see them. I know if it has 16 protons, then it's also going to have 16 electrons. So I have to fill in 16 electrons on these different energy levels. Remember, if we go back here, the first energy level can only hold 2 electrons. So I can put 1 here and 1 here. So that has filled my first energy level. Now I need to move to the second energy level because we have to move out in order. I can put up to 8 on my second energy level. So I go 1, 2, 3, space them out equally. I know my first 2 aren't. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. See how I fill up the second energy level before I even consider moving to the third? Now we need to figure out how many electrons we need on our third energy level. We need 16 total. We need 16 electrons total. 16 electrons. I've drawn 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So how many more do I have to put? Correct. 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And then I am done. That is my Bohr model for sulfur. So all it is making sure you can identify how many protons and neutrons, and then the correct number of rings, energy levels, based on the row, and then drawing in those electrons. And making sure you put 2 on the first level, 8 on the second level, 8 on the third level, or however many you need to put to properly fill it in. Now remember when I said valence electrons? That's how many are on the outermost energy level, and that's determined by the group number. Well, we have 6 valence electrons here, and if we look at sulfur, it is in group number 6. So we can check our work and realize we have the correct number of valence electrons because it's in group number 6 and we have 6 valence electrons. Let's do one more. We have boron right here. Remember, the very first thing you do is draw your nucleus simply by writing the number of protons and neutrons. So boron, if we look on our periodic table, boron is right here. Boron has an atomic number of 5 and a mass number of 11. That means atomic number of 5 means I have 5 protons. Mass number of 11, 11 minus 5 means I have 6 neutrons. So that right there is my nucleus. Remember, don't draw anything around it. That in and of itself is the nucleus. Now I got to see which row it's in. It's in row 1, 2. So we only have to draw 2 energy levels. So we'll draw 1 here and then 1 more here. These circles look a little bit better than my last ones. Okay, so I have my energy levels. I have my nucleus. Now I just need to fill in the appropriate number of electrons. Now how many electrons does boron have? That's right, it's equal to the number of protons. So I have to draw a total of 5 electrons. Remember, on the innermost energy level, you can only hold 2. So you would put 1 electron here and 1 electron here. Now, how many more do I need to draw on my outer energy level? That's right, 3, because we're drawing 5 electrons total. So I need to do 3 more on my outer energy level. 1, 2, and 3. That's 5 electrons total. Check our work. We have 3 valence electrons. See which column it's in? It's in column 3. So remember, the column or group correlates to the number of valence electrons. So we know our work is correct because we have 3 valence electrons, and we needed 3 valence electrons. So that is Bohr models, how to draw a Bohr model. We're going to have a lot more practice with that, but it's really just identifying the protons and neutrons, identifying which row it's in so you know how many energy levels to draw, and then finally just filling in those electrons and making sure you remember the number of electrons for now is equal to the number of protons, and you have to fill in first shell first, then second shell, then third shell. That's all I got for you. Enjoy. Farewell.